Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Indie Review with me, Chris.
And me, Jake.
This week we're going to be looking at a steampunk medieval tactical card game, dropping some balls in Gumball Fall, and looking ahead to Hyphen. So we're going to start with Steamalot.
Yes. This game.
This game,
It defies classification. I was very intrigued by Steamalot. And I'm beginning to spend a lot more time with it. It's
to clarify, it's a medieval steampunk tactical card game.
Yes.
It works on a turn-based board where you've got a hand of cards and you use them to obliterate the enemy cards.
Yeah. So you use your cards to summon guys, which you then move around a map, and you then equip those guys with weapons and use special skills like an RPG. But it's also a collectible card game. It's set in, like you say, a kind of steampunky, but also I think it's kind of Arthurian legend as well.
Yeah,
like it's an interesting blend of kind of lore and gameplay styles, which weirdly works. I think it actually
it does. At first, I started playing and it was like, what is this? But then you sort of you get into it and it's actually a really well thought out game with a lot of cool features, and it's got an overlying story as well.
Yeah. There's essentially you can build your own deck, and you can even kind of build the cards within that deck. So you can kind of upgrade heroes and things like in an RPG, and basically kind of take that deck to harder and harder fights. Again, like what you say, following a bit of a plot. It's a really interesting concept. I think like you say, my misgivings with it were that it did kind of throw a lot of its features at you very quickly at the beginning.
Yeah, the tutorial seemed less like an explanation of how to play, more like a do this, do this, do this.
Yeah, exactly. It was just kind of like it was sort of just concept. And I think by the time you sort of got your head around one, you're kind of immediately being moved on to another. I think that was a little bit overwhelming. But if you kind of give it a bit of time and just kind of sort of stick with the basic deck for a little bit, just kind of play around with what the different kind of characters can do, then it gets very interesting very quickly.
Definitely. There's a single player campaign and there's also PvP matches. Now, we didn't get time to have a look at the PvP matches, but again, that's something that we'll probably take a look at in the future, and perhaps put another video out about that.
Yeah, do a bit of let's playing. Have a go at that. I think that'd probably be where this game would begin to shine, really.
Yeah, but in terms of the thought that's gone into this game and the amount of work that's gone into getting it to where it is, it's really impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And it is. I mean, these games must be really kind of complicated to balance and to kind of make sure that it works. And there's a reasonably intelligent AI built into it as well that plays against you quite efficiently and summons its own cards and things like that. It's good. It's worth a look. No, it's fine. I think we could describe it as extuitive.
Yeah.
It's worth persevering with. I think it is a very interesting concept, and it isn't like anything that I've tried in a while.
So yeah, go check that one out. Moving on to the mobile apps.
Yes.
We were looking at Gumball Fall this week as well.
Indeed we were.
It's another typical match 3 game. In terms of gameplay, it's fairly standard with what you'd expect. But I found it was really well delivered.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The presentation of it is really slick.
Yeah.
I think this one feels very aimed at kids, to the point where it isn't even a match 3; it's a match 2. Like there's a cheerful little rabbit whose name is Frank,
Frank the Rabbit.
Which amused me because that's the same name as the rabbit from Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
And Frank the Rabbit really loves gumballs and really wants you to collect as many gumballs as you possibly can as they drop from the top of his rabbit box, I think. I don't quite understand it. But yes, it is. It's an interesting game, I guess. It's a good way to kind of kill a bit of time. It's free to download, and they have kind of daily quests on it as well, with lots of different kind of modes and things, so you can kind of compete against your friends. One of my kind of major misgivings with it was that although there are lots of different modes of kind of how you can play it, there's only kind of one mode where you can potentially die, I guess, or where kind of balls keep dropping from the ceiling, and in the classic puzzle bobble sort of style, which is kind of, I guess, what it looks the most like. Yeah. So there's only kind of one mode that's like that, and you can either play that, I think, on a Tuesday or a Sunday for free, or you have to buy it any other day of the week, which is a little bit annoying because all the other modes are kind of like sort of practice modes, really. I get it though. I suppose you got to make money from this thing somehow.
Yeah,
but that seemed a little bit weird. And I suppose, like you say, you can play it for free as much as you want on Tuesday and Sunday. Just an odd thing, because I was kind of giving it a blast on the underground today, and I wasn't even able to access those kind of levels through microtransactions because I couldn't get on the internet. So, but like you say, slick presentation. It does sound like somebody making this noise repeatedly at you.
Yeah, it's got a wonderfully soothing soundtrack.
Yes, yeah,
And a nice sort of gentle piano melody in the background. So if you want to chill out and unwind, then pop a few gumballs on Gumball Fall. Exactly. We'll post the link in the comment section below, so you can get that. We've played it on Android. I'm not entirely sure if it's available on iOS, but I imagine it would be.
So can I. I can imagine this world having Gumball Fall on iOS.
Yes, definitely. So moving on to Hyphen. This is from Farspace Studios, and it's sort of. I mean, what's the best way to describe this game?
Oh God, this is a puzzle game that looks like it's kind of set in the Tron universe, but a flat one. That game that we reviewed a couple of weeks ago with the kind of spinning guy that shot the zombies, it's kind of like that, but not.
But not.
You basically have from what we can tell from the preview video, is you have a spinning bar which you must navigate through a curvy world.
Not always curvy. Quite
not always curvy.
Sometimes as well.
Occasionally straight and spiky. But Chris, are we not just a spinning bar navigating through a curvy world sometimes?
Sometimes I feel that's what we are.
Yes. It looks really interesting as a really novel puzzle game. There's kind of tons of stuff to navigate. There's a really good soundtrack. Again, definitely. Kind of pulsing techno. It's very simple graphically, but really effective. Like just kind of bright neon colors, and there were kind of little things that you can pick up from the video that show they're really thinking about their gameplay as well. Like for example, you seem to be able to put a checkpoint down almost anywhere, which in a puzzle game is an absolute godsend.
Yeah,
like in this kind of one where you're having to kind of repeatedly try something and potentially die. That kind of sort of reaction puzzle game.
To me, it seems like the sort of the evolution of you know the game that you used to play where you had the stick with the hook on the end that you passed over the wire, and if you touched the wire, it set the alarm off. It seems like the sort of 21st century version of that.
Exactly.
And we all know how fun that was.
Hours of entertainment for a small Chris and a small Jake.
Yes.
No,
now these guys are looking to get this game on Steam. So if you enjoy it, then get over to greenlight it and give them some support on there. Help them get onto the Steam list.
Hell yeah. How does one do that? I'm never actually 100% sure.
That's for people who are smarter than me, I think, that can make the kind of people that can make these games.
Yes. Send them a nice email. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah. A complimentary email.
I think it'd be wonderful if you kind of saw a game like this on the Steam's greenlight stuff. It does look like something really interesting. That might be sort of worth blowing away a few hours and a little bit of cash on.
Yeah, definitely. So that's all we've got time for in this episode. But if you've got a game that you would like reviewing or previewing, then send us a link, either on our email address, bottlerocketuk@gmail.com, or give us a message on Twitter, and we'll get back to you and get your game in one of the videos in the future. But for this episode, thanks for watching. I've been Chris.
And I've been Jake.
Catch you next time. This week, we're going to be looking at a medieval card role-playing turn-based... I'm going to start again.